Hello there, and welcome to Yak number 152. How about that? 152 already. It was just like 152 episodes ago. How is everyone?
That means you've been on over 100 episodes now, haven't you?
It does indeed. Yes, I have been on for over 100 episodes. So yes, more than 2/3 of the show have had my ugly mug in them. So
wow.
Lucky,
I think you've
everyone.
been on Yak more than I have.
Possibly,
yeah, I think
it is possible. Yeah, you had that little hiatus going on there.
Do we conclude our experiment now? We thought that getting Bruce on the show would have us skyrocket in subs, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, we hit the 1,000. We did. We are monetized. And we weren't before.
We weren't before. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't. We were monetized before we weren't.
Yeah, that's right. So what's everyone been up to? Anything interesting over the past week?
I had 0.2 inches of snow.
I have about 13 that I could ship to Jay if he would like it, but
I have at least 6 currently, and it's still coming. It's going to be at least a foot before the end of the night.
I have about 6 more inches coming tonight, so yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the radar. I saw where it skipped Jay just barely, and
yeah. So this is the one person who wants snow isn't getting it. So
and the ones that don't want it
are getting plenty,
lots of it.
Yeah. I think even Dana got some, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he got more than I did.
Oh dear. Oh well. Let's fingers crossed for you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of Dana, Dana's not here. He's not feeling well. Steve's not here. He's not feeling well. Mike is not here. He says he has to work.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all just meeting up to have a LAN party. But I can't
so.
prove it. I can't prove it.
Well, one thing interesting that happened to me this week is I got a new acquired MacBook Pro. A lot of people know I get them all the time. Well, this one was actually the newest one I've ever gotten, a 2017 MacBook Pro. Somebody was tossing out with water damage, and I got it to work. So
that is extraordinary. Is it still working?
Yes, except for the battery. I got a battery on order. It should be here Sunday. Once I put the battery in it, I'll run some CPU tests on it to stress it out, and we'll see how it goes.
Good.
It'll work right up until the sale.
Mac OS without a battery in it will not go above 1.5 gigahertz right now.
Yep. They don't like running without a battery.
Yeah.
Which is already an improvement because most MacBook Airs top out at 800 megahertz.
But this isn't an Air. This is a MacBook Pro.
I know, but the Air is... we know it's a stupid machine, but... and it's stupid because an 800 megahertz PowerPC flies. As soon as you take the battery out of a MacBook Air and you're stuck on 800 megahertz, it's worse than an Atari. It's crazy.
Shocking. Oh, well. Yep. How about you, Gritty? You done anything interesting?
Well, I've kinda. The weekend was more exciting than this week so far because of all the snow and other crap. But I managed to work on my PowerPC Challenge Mac back there. It's running back there. And got 2 good videos out of it. One of them premieres right after Yak, so that's going to be fun. And then the other one I'm premiering probably Sunday. So
excellent. You
that's
looked.
About all I've done.
I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I had a bit of a glance at your video because I realized the other day I am actually a Patreon, even though I thought I wasn't. So I got the notification about the video and went and had a look. And you looked like you were having some trouble with it.
Oh, yeah. I was about to literally take a sledgehammer to it. I've got one in the basement.
He never has trouble with his G5s.
Yeah, it was pure hell. That was one of the most frustrating, nerve-wracking, infuriating videos I've ever filmed. So
you kept your composure, right? There's no screeching, no flailing arms, nothing like that. Right?
Oh, no, there's a lot of that.
Oh, well, so that's one to look forward to.
I think there was some blood somewhere in there, yeah.
It's not a Rucke Mods video without blood, so.
Yeah. So that's we can't go over time, can we? Because you're premiering after the show, correct?
Oh, we got
Well,
plenty of
it's
time.
at 10, so we have plenty of time to go over
Okay.
time.
Good.
That means we could go to like 10:05. No problems.
And no.
Well,
yeah.
we double booked the airwaves tonight because I have to stream at 10 o'clock as well.
Yeah, but mine's only going to be like 20 minutes, so
Mine is going to be like 20 hours. That's why I have to
yeah,
start early.
exactly. So right after that one, we can go straight to you.
Yeah.
So what exciting things do we have to look forward to on your channel, Jay?
I'm opening a box.
Woo!
Yeah, it is as
That
exciting
sounds
as it
exciting.
sounds. Yeah.
Yay.
You know what? You know what's so crazy about that? I've mentioned this before on my channel. I do, as you know, I do quite a few live streams, and one of the highest viewed live streams I have ever had was one called "What's in the Box," and it was
What's
a
in
picture
the
of a great
box?
big pink box. And I have had more viewers watch that than any other of my live streams. So, yeah, finding
That's
out what's in a
because
box.
That's because it's clickbait.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. People want to find out what's in the box. What is in the box? So,
Well, Rudy,
yeah.
it doesn't sound like you're going to get any viewers tonight. I'm opening a box.
Yeah, did you make a clickbait title there, Grudy?
No, I didn't need to. I mean, it's got a big question mark after it. I guess it is a little clickbaity, but
Yeah, remember we went over this a couple of weeks ago. So
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have the master of clickbait here?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, he's just rocked up.
yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Yay,
hey,
clickbait.
Sean.
What about you,
dear.
Bruce? What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. I did a live stream. I did a live stream a few days ago. Don't ask me what day it is. And it was a checkerboard Macintosh Classic, which of course is a very common problem on the Macintosh Classic. It's usually an indication that there's not enough. Well, it's usually an indication of ROM issues, but it can also be because there's not enough power and stuff like that. So anyhow, that was a Mac Classic that I thought was going to be just a straightforward open it up, recap it, and away you go. And open it up in the live stream and realized that it had already been recapped by the owner and had other problems. So that was a fun old live stream, but it worked out well in the end. Spoiler alert, I got it fixed. Yeah, I know. Sorry. So you don't have to go back and watch the 3 hours now.
Is that the one where the ROM was also not in the ROM?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. The ROM had been put back. And I should actually mention that the person who owns that computer, he sent me an email afterwards and he said something along the lines of, I felt like I was being told off by a school teacher during that live stream. And I said to him, look, I wasn't trying to shame you. I try not to do that because as much as possible, I do try and encourage people to give it a go themselves. But yeah, there were just I was frustrated during that live stream. You could definitely tell that. So
He tries not to shame people, but wait until I send him a board. It's like, oh, look, zoom, zoom, zoom. Is that a solder ball right there?
oh, that brought me so much joy. That brought me so much joy, especially when I knew how many kilometers that board had traveled for me to find that solder ball. So anyhow, yeah, that's about it for me. I've sort of been working on some pre-recorded videos as well, but because that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
I thought it was unboxings.
Oh, and unboxings. Yes, that's right.
I don't know. My best video is one I did a live stream of for doing a pixelless, or no, the open core thing. So
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, it depends on the the subject matter, that's for sure. But yeah, you haven't tried an unboxing yet, so try that and see if that beats the open core.
Actually, I did do an unboxing. I did it of that TI-99.
Did you do?
Did we know what was in the box?
I don't remember if I put that at the title. I just said what's in the. I might have said what's in the box too, or something.
We'll have to go back and check that. Because it's
the
mystery.
Remember what Sean taught us. Like, if you have a box, you don't say unboxing. You say, "I cried when I saw this." It works.
Oh dear, very, very true. Okay, so let us move on, shall we?
Yes, Ghostbusters.
we
We're
have
gonna
just
talk about Ghostbusters, right?
we've completely removed news from the. So we're just not
We
doing
didn't have
news
any.
ever. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, even no title there or anything. But anyhow, yeah. So who here has seen Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Let's talk about it.
No,
Ah,
let's not.
In the chat, did you enjoy it?
we waited until everybody saw it, and in our little Yak group chat, like, everybody seen it? Everybody seen it? Okay, let's talk about it. And then
Yeah,
there's
they
this
started
guy.
talking about it before I even saw that, and it's like, no, I haven't seen it, so I had to skip it all.
Dear. Anyhow, it is an enjoyable film. It does have some flaws, but it's well worth a watch. I mean, it's an indication, I think, of just how bad movies are these days in general. But yeah, it didn't suck, so that's a good thing. What do people think about the 2016 one?
What?
What?
You were
2016
breaking
one?
up there. What?
Yeah.
The 2016 Ghostbusters movie that I
What?
think actually
There's
did
no
fairly
such
well in
thing.
the.
I
There's
think
no
you
such-
watch-
there's
I
no
think
such
you watch
movie.
Spider-Man alternate universe stuff where stuff happens that doesn't happen here.
Exactly.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. So we're moving on from Ghostbusters, are we? Yes, we are.
I guess we are.
So we have got some topics here. I'm going to start with the first one, and the first one is the New Year's UT game. How did it go?
Dude,
Kate
it was
promised
awesome.
to be there, but
It was fun.
Yep, Kate flaked, which we will mention repeatedly until she shows up for a game. But yeah, we had a full server. We played for almost 2 hours. Discord voice chat was full. The server was full, maxing out at 16 players, and we just had a blast.
Mhm.
Who won?
Definitely fun.
Nobody won. It just
Well, when I looked away for a second, other people won. But no, it was all over the place.
yeah.
I won a few.
Yeah, it is
Steve
pretty
won a
crazy.
few. And yeah, it was fun.
And we
I-
captured the flag too, so that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. I had no idea what was going on, but I saw the
After
stuff
the
to do with
flag was
flags.
great.
Mm.
I had no idea what I was doing. No idea.
I
Dan
did
and I
hear you a couple
dominated
of
it
times.
at one point.
Jay, I
What?
heard you saying a couple of times that you were shooting your own team members. So
Yeah.
The last time
that
I
was
played
hilarious.
Capture the Flag, I was in high school. So I didn't even know what team I was on. And by the time I figured out what team I was on, blue or red, the game was over. It switched, and turned out it would put me on a different team. So I would play for 10 minutes thinking that I'm the blue team while I was actually the red team, and it was a disaster. So we did 2 or 3 maps, and then we went back to deathmatch. And yeah, we had a blast. We're going to do it again soon.
I must confess, I had planned to join, and I launched UT99, and none of the controls from UT 2004 worked. And then I went to go configure the controls, and had this massive page of controls, and I just went, "Oh, stuff! This is too hard." So it was just like, and I was like, "Oh, what?" And then
You only
I
got to
changed.
get maybe 4 or 5
You,
keys.
you just need to change the arrows to WASD
Yeah.
and you're good.
Yeah,
The arrows
Yeah.
WASD and your weapons, for your mouse buttons.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean, we should mention that he had every intention of showing up just to make us happy, but he didn't want to be there. So
well,
after
yeah,
the 0.5 seconds of looking at the controls, he's like, "Nah."
I do have to confess that the "do I care enough" equation came into that whole process, as I was doing it, and ultimately the answer was no. So yeah, but
To be
it
fair,
worked
you
out.
mentioned in advance, right?
Yes, and what I also have to think of is the incredibly charitable nature that I showed, given that there are only 16 spots on the server, that I gave up that spot so that someone else could be one of the 16.
Yep.
So
And,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, special thank you to Retro Techie. He was there. He basically held up the scoreboard. He was a solid foundation at the bottom,
Yes, he was.
and it was very much
Definitely was.
appreciated. Without him, we all would have fallen off the street.
I thought
Oh, yeah.
Mike was helping him hold that up.
Yeah.
Mike was up there pretty good.
He was actually doing pretty good for a
Yeah.
while there. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just reading in the chat there about the female Ghostbusters version. That's all.
Yeah, I think the girls are having a moment there, so I'll just let them. I have no idea what it's about.
I am going to say that I didn't hate that version of Ghostbusters. I didn't particularly like
let's
What
tell the
version
audience
are we
how many
talking about?
times you watched
the
it.
2016 one, the all-female version.
Right.
Yes, that's the one.
Connection there.
So when do we kick Bruce off of MacYak now?
I think we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. So, anywho, what are we? I should also mention that Retro Techie asked to be asked to be moderator, and as we said, the moment you ask, you get put into a 1 year waiting queue.
Yep.
So it's now a 2 year queue because he's asked twice. So
Yep. He thought it only applied to Steve's stream, but no, they accumulate. You asked one on Steve, one here, you got 2 years. Just like that.
If you ask to be moderator, I will moderate the man next to you. Sorry, that was some Under Siege humor there. Sorry about that. That probably fall flat. Okay, so let's move on to another topic, shall we? Okay, so this is an interesting one. This one has been in our list of topics for at least the last probably 3, maybe 4 weeks, and it's certainly back into 2021, and it's just one that's got bumped because it hasn't been necessarily immediately topical, but it is basically project management. And what we want to do is we want to talk about sort of project management tools and get some feedback from the chat about it as well. What tools other people use. We'll talk about tools that we've used and what's good and what's bad about them. And obviously the advantages and disadvantages of using a project management tool. As you can see, if you can just see in the corner here, that's my project management up there. A few post-it notes on a whiteboard. It's a little bit difficult.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see it now. Yeah.
So that's my project management there. Let's move around the room. Starting top left, Jay. What can you tell us about project management tools?
I absolutely suck at using them. I have tried a lot of them. I was very enthusiastic when a couple of years ago the whole mind mapping thing became a thing, and you have software that does it, makes all these cool graphs, shows you where you are in your project, whether it's cleaning up your garden, fixing a computer, or just organizing your day. It can help you do it. Apparently my mind cannot be mapped, or cannot be mapped in a way that I myself understand my own mind map, so I never really got into that. I always gravitate back to notes, reminders, and the calendar for the most part. Although I do have an application called Things, which is pretty cool as well. Basically just a giant checklist of stuff that you can cross off, which these days notes can do as well.
I was going to say, I mean, when it comes, I actually went and I was looking for a shopping list application, one that I could, share across different devices and stuff like that, where I could create a shopping list and then check things off when I was in the grocery store buying stuff. And I had a couple, but I really wasn't happy with them. And then once Notes brought in the checklist, it just kind of made it obsolete. I mean, Notes fulfills sort of so many requirements, I find.
It does. And, especially when you're talking about a shopping list, I have a note that is shared with my wife, and we can both walk around in the grocery store, and we don't have to stay in touch or meet up in aisle 5, like, hey, you get this, you get that. No, you just go to the list. You see if I grab something, she doesn't have to grab it, and it's useful.
That's really clever.
We still end up with 2 cartons of milk and 2 cartons of eggs and all that stuff. But yeah, supposedly it works pretty well.
So when you use it in conjunction with iCloud, it works really well, though.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show this one. I quite like this one. How about you, GT? Have you had any experience with project management tools?
Yes. When I was working as a contractor, probably about 10 years ago or so, they actually sent me to project management training. And so you would learn how to actually how project management worked from a contractor perspective. And this is back in the day when they used Microsoft Project. as the tool to map out your projects. And to be honest with you, that was one of the most convoluted tools I ever saw, because like Jay said, using notes with a checkbox on it is a hell of a lot easier than the way they do stuff. But to be honest with you, when you're a professional and doing projects like that, you need to have a lot more detail in there. And that's what that project, Microsoft Project does for you, is it lets you put all those little details, and then lets you put milestones that you have to meet, stuff like that, But yeah, I have had a little bit of formal training in project management, but to be honest with you, I haven't really used it, much. So,
well, it's actually a really important thing that you bring up there, and that is that there are, when it comes to project management, that can be as basic as you just trying to organize your own day, or it can be trying to coordinate large teams of people working on a single project. And this is, of course, where it comes into trying to find the right software that you're going to use, making sure that it is suitable for what you're looking for. Some of those project management tools have an incredibly steep learning curve, and have incredible amounts of features, and I totally appreciate what they do, but if you're sort of someone like me who either works on your own or works with very, very small teams, a lot of those ones are just way overkill. I mean, you're going to spend so much time learning how they work when you're only going to be using a fraction of the functionality. So, and that to me is actually, I mean, that when it comes around to my turn, that's actually one of the issues that I actually have. But how about you? How about you, Grudy? You done any project management?
I have severe ADD. Like, what were we talking about again? Kind of ADD. Okay.
Yeah.
You should have just skipped Grudy.
The only thing,
isn't it called executive decision disorder? I think that's what they call it these days.
Yeah, exactly. Although that's EDD, but yeah, but the only thing I ever really used was the reminder thing, which I always forget to actually use on the phone. Other than that, the only thing I do is just try to keep it in my head, which I tend to forget.
Yeah, integrates WordPress and WooCommerce to allow me to manage repair jobs. Interesting, Joe. I'm actually using a repair tool that I built myself. I'll show it to you sometime if you like, and see if it suits what you're after. It doesn't do invoicing though, so that's the only issue. Mind you, having said that, I probably should get it to. Never mind.
I'm using a similar software to what Bruce is using. It has so many flaws, but it gets the job done when it comes to repairs and stuff.
I think he might be referring to the fact that he's a beta tester, and I kind of just stopped looking at the beta requests about 6 months ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
So I might have to get back.
I see Trello mentioned a few times. I know my wife used it in the past. I know a bunch of other people used it. I have tried to use it and ran. I ran for the hills. I hated it. By the way, let me turn this. I have a whiteboard right there. You see how white it is? That's because I don't use it. My wife comes in once in a while, leaves a cute message or a funny drawing, but I would love to use a whiteboard because I just think it's, convenient. I just never touch it, ever.
Well, yeah. I mean, also, when you look at it too, like when we're talking like a professional project manager, and the reason why they have to have specialized tools for that is because some of those projects are very, very complicated. There's thousands of little pieces, and like for instance, when you're on a project like this, one piece has to be done before another piece can start working. Work on it. Let's say building a house. That's a prime example right there, because you can't have the plumbers come in until basically you have all the stuff ready to go. You can't, like, for instance, when we did our walkthrough of our house, they had to stop construction up to the point of putting the drywall in because we didn't have windows, because the windows have to be in before they could put the drywall up. So
gotta be
we
weatherproof.
were on a 2-week delay because of the Windows not being shipped on time. So I mean, and that's what the project management does, is it integrates all that and puts it in a timeline, so okay, I have to have this now before we can start on this, and it keeps the flow going, so to say.
I have lived in this country, in Florida and Ohio, and a little short while I've spent in Texas. In none of those places have they figured out project management when it comes to construction, either for the road or for homes.
Well,
Never, ever.
like I said,
Nowhere.
the only little snafu we hit was the 2-week delay in the Windows, and it was because it was during COVID when they were building my house, and the big part of it, and a lot of stuff shipping or manufacturing was actually delayed. So that's why we had that 2-week delay. Had we had the Windows on time, our house would have been finished right on the time that they said it was supposed to be. But that was the only snafu that they hit. Everything else fell into place.
Yeah, I mean, I've because most of the time I'm working on quite small projects. I might only be working with a few people involved on them, or just myself and wanting to communicate with the person that I'm working on that project with. And I have tried a few tools because I'm always looking for the simplicity, but there are certain things that I do require. So, for example, I might be working on a development project, and I might send something across to the customer for them to test, and they will test it, and I want them to be able to report back to me, how it went, whatever. Maybe they send a screen snap or something like that, and then once they've replied, I get an alert. So essentially, it's just like sending emails back and forwards to each other with attachments, except they're all recorded with that task, and then that task can have a status of whether it's waiting to be done, or whether it's complete, or whether it's in testing, that sort of thing. And I discovered a cute little tool called Remember the Milk, which is an online thing, and it has applications as well for iPads and stuff like that. And it was quite good, except that it wasn't very good, I think, at handling image attachments, which is a really important thing because I need people to be able to send me screen snaps and stuff like that. So need to be able to have this conversation going on. Now, this company have actually ended up using Zendesk now. Now, I don't know if Zendesk is essentially like a sort of tech support type tool.
Yeah, ticketing system.
Ticketing system, that's right. And I don't know if it's the way this is configured. They've done it incorrectly. But one of the things that really frustrates me about it is that if they send me a request, if I just reply to them saying, yep, got it, going to work on that today, they don't get a notification unless I reassign it back to them. And then when I reassign it back to them, I no longer have access to it. So it can't just be used, again, the way it's configured. It could well be configured incorrectly, but the way it works, it doesn't work as kind of like a conversational to and fro type tool where you can just, it just, as I say, it becomes almost like its own email thread that you can just sort of share and then, attach images and stuff like that. So I still haven't found something. I've looked at other tools, but they then bring a huge amount of functionality that I absolutely don't need. And a price tag to go with it, because most of these are online and work with subscription fees. So I'm still kind of.
I thought you loved subscription fees, though.
Oh yeah, I love them. But while this is not actually a project management tool, I did want to make mention of this for anyone out there that might be someone who needs to keep like timesheets of stuff they're doing on their computer. And I use an application on the Mac called Timing. And I highly recommend it if you're someone like me I'm a developer, and when I'm working on stuff, I need to have the time that I work on it recorded so that I can then bill the hours to a customer. And what Timing does is it monitors every single piece of use on your computer. Every application that was used, every file that was used, every directory that was used, all that sort of stuff. So while there is activity on your computer, it's recording the amount of time spent. And what I can then do is I can have a look at what I did during the day, and I can see a directory, and I can say, well, any work done on any file in that directory should be recorded for this job. So I can create a job and then assign any files that are worked on in that directory to that job. So if I open that up, I load a file, whether it be an image that I work on in Photoshop, or if it be a sort of a text file that I work on, or whatever the case may be, anything I work on within that directory, any time I spent working on it will then be recorded to a particular job. And then I can, at the end of a whatever period, select a report and get all of the hours I spent on files within that directory. And you can also add to it email communication, any emails to or from a particular person, they can be assigned to that as well. Or even if you fire up, sort of Zoom or something like that, it'll get to the end of the meeting and it'll say, you just spent 45 minutes in that meeting. Do you want to assign it to a project? And you then have the option to say yes, and then you can assign that to whichever project you want for that. So that, to me, is a really, really useful tool, because it means that, at the end of the month when I want to build the client, I can then just bring up how many hours I spent on their job, send it to them, and if they question any of it, I can output a report with all of the time that I spent on which day, all that sort of stuff. So it's called timing, and it's a really, really useful tool for people who are billing by the hour, working at a computer. So just
is that the one you had me try a couple of months ago?
I think so. Yeah.
It's
for me, it's become invaluable. It is I think there was an outright cost of buying it, and then there was a subscription fee for updates or something like that. And to be honest, I don't even know if I need the updates, but I just pay the subscription fee because this thing is so valuable to me. So
yeah, I tried a few of those apps. Not for me, because I don't really work with files on the computer. I work with hardware and stuff. So for me, it doesn't add any value. But for my wife, who does work with files in InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, it's all file based. Or emails. So I'm like, hey, babe, how's your day going? I just installed a piece of software. Enjoy. And of course, there's a learning curve. I don't know how to explain it because I haven't used it. I just dump it on her computer and see if it works out. So at the end of the week, I walk in there and there will be an iPhone in front of her with the timer app running. And that's the way she's been using it. She starts working on a file. She hits start on the stopwatch. And by the time she's done, she hits stop. It's like, oh, I worked 2 hours on this. Write it up. So there are workflows that for that software could really make her life better and easier. But it's the system of just hitting start and stop on the phone is just so in there. Why deal with a learning curve? Just keep doing it.
With that software called Timing, there are tutorial videos on the website, and they're not long, and you can get into it quite quickly. But I have always been someone who forgets to press the start button and forgets to press the stop button. I have always done that. And I actually wrote some software a long time ago that was a timer on the computer, but it detected if there was inactivity at the computer. And it would automatically stop the timer when there was inactivity. And then when you'd come back, it would jump to the front of the screen and flash at you and sort of say, you're back. Do you want to start the timer again? And that one worked for me reasonably well. But once I then got this timing software, which essentially just automates it, I can just get, at the end of the day, I can just have a look at it, check and make sure that everything that has been logged either belongs to a project, and even if that project is procrastinating, everything that gets done belongs to a particular project. And once you get rules in there, it means the next day when you're doing certain things, they'll just automatically get assigned to that project. It's a really, really handy tool. So
it definitely sounds good. One of the issues that I have with, and I've tried many solutions for project tracking and management and stuff, is that I will find one that's really good for the groceries, for example, but it sucks for my repairs, or the other way around. Or, I do something completely out of the norm, like fix a tractor, and neither of the solutions will match, will be good for that. So finding one app that is so flexible that it can do all of it without being super complicated has been like looking for a unicorn. That's why I wrote my own FileMaker Pro solution for all the repairs, it is perfect because I wrote it the way I want it, and it does everything I need it to do for the most part. But I cannot apply that to my grocery list or like cleaning the house or whatever project I want to put in there. So that's been a major issue for me.
Yeah. 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 Oh well. So we haven't really come up with any solution.
No.
But
Well, just to let people know that they're not alone. We all suck
Yes,
at it.
yeah,
And we're all
that's
looking for a good solution.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the best solution is the solution that works for you. You know,
Right. I'm still looking.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. I am as well. So
I
I
mean,
might
you
end up
still
just
look,
making
I
what I
mean,
need.
you may find the right solution, or the
Yeah.
solution might be what you're doing right
My
now.
solution would be to have a personal secretary that walks behind me all day long and keeps notes and reminds me. Yesterday, I was having a talk with Bruce, a chat about something completely unrelated, and I don't even remember. We're talking about crickets. He's like, "Yeah, this guy hasn't shaved all day." Oh, yeah, I need to shave. And every sentence he said had a trigger word in it that reminded me of something completely unrelated. So I'm like, dude, keep talking. This is awesome. And I'm making a list here with all the stuff I need to do. So that worked.
Oh dear. Alrighty. Well, I think we've probably done this one. Has any people been keeping an eye on the chat? I haven't really seen that much. So
I know Grudy has a lot to say on the topic. He's been holding back.
Well, RetroTech even says he
Exactly.
looks very riveted.
yeah.
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 I'm reading things on Facebook while you guys just chat along.
You're not
Fair
supposed to be
enough,
doing
fair
that. Come on.
Okay, all right, moving on. Okay, so we have another topic here, and it, of course, is a very important one because it is a MacYak exclusive, and that is the 4th annual MacYak PowerPC Challenge. We're going to try and start including the words MacYak at the beginning of that so everyone knows
we're
it's
gonna own
ours.
this thing. Yeah.
That's right.
And so anyhow, it's basically going to be kicking off at the end of this show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And so I hope everyone has been getting all their stuff ready. Once again, we'll start with the rotation, top left. Jay, what are you going to be using?
I'm going to be using 2, probably 3 machines. Going to take a completely different approach this year. I will be using a G3 blue and white to revisit some of the games that I used to play when I had that computer in the early 2000s. I will be using my mirror drive door G4 to experiment with Sorbet Leopard and compiling my own version of TEM4 Fox and play around with that a little. And I might dig up a G5 for absolutely no good reason. But when I was cleaning the basement, I saw that I had a lot of them, so I should probably use one of them once.
You are, of course, talking about the G5 iMac.
No,
Power Mac.
I only have liquid cooleds, and I think I saw one that still works. So
Okay.
I gave one to Dana. I think I gave a few to Grudy back in the day. I think I have one left that still works, so I might play with that.
Mike is in the chat. Hello, Mike.
Yep.
Hey, Mike.
Mike said he had to work,
Hey, Mike.
so he is slacking.
How about you? GT? What do you got set up ready for?
I'm probably going to be using 3 different systems as well.
Come on, I'm trying to be original here.
Yeah, exactly. I have a G4 MDD that I'm going to be using. I'm running. I'm running Tiger, Sorbet, and OS 9 Lives on that machine, so I can run all 3 of those operating systems on it. I also have a PowerBook G4 17-inch that I will use for mobile purposes. It works rather well. It's the one, and everybody's seen it before, that had somebody tried to sand the bottom of it, so
Yes.
but it still works.
Has the battery on it?
The battery actually is good because I actually got the battery from another PowerBook that somebody was donating that didn't work at my work, and it was almost brand new. And I stuck it in there, and I was like, "Oh, this one has a lot better charge than the one that came with it." So I'm actually using it now. And then for my third machine, I have a Power Mac G5 that I use to game on and do other things like that. I play UT 2004 on that one, but 1999 on the UT night, I played it on my G4 MDD. So it ran really well on that G4.
Nice.
But that's the three machines I plan on using. The G5 is the one I've used, I think, for every Mac Yak PowerPC challenge that we've done.
Yep, excellent. Yep, nuts. They're all good choices. How about you, Grudy?
I'm going to be using the topic of the video that's premiering at the end of the video.
So no spoilers.
Yeah.
So just the one computer?
Basically, because it's the only system I could get running properly before the PowerPC challenge.
Okay.
I've got a few other ones I could probably use. They just aren't set up yet, but I can set them up.
I was going to say, Grudy, how many G4 or G5 systems do you currently own?
Well, they aren't running Sorbet, and they've got really old versions of.
I didn't ask. I didn't say
Fox on them, and yeah, I can set them up if I need them. But right now, I'm just going to use a dual 2.7 that's sitting right there running backups. So,
excellent, good stuff.
And you, Bruce?
I'm going to do the majority of stuff on. I'll be using potentially 2, maybe 3 as well, but probably just 2. I've got a G5 here. It's a dual 2 gigahertz air cooled with 8 gigs of RAM and 1 gigabyte SSD. And I am going to be using predominantly Leopard. I have not installed Sorbet on it. I probably will. I mean, we all know that Leopard has its faults, but with 8 gigs of RAM and it goes pretty well on this 8 gigs of RAM and the SSD. It goes pretty well on this computer, and I do like having the additional functionality. But I am definitely going to give the old Sorbet a try and see if there are any benefit from that. But for any of my mobile use, I've got the little 12-inch G4, which I just think is just the cutest little portable laptop thing, and I've also got a G4 Titanium, which I might use again. That's just for mobile use if I want to use them mobile, but most of the stuff will be done on the G5. The big issue I have is space, and the G5 is here set up. I can actually sort of view it on this screen here, so it just makes life a lot easier. I don't have to go in and set something else up somewhere else. So that's my plan for those. Now, I do have to ask about this whole kind of web issue that, in particular, if people are wanting to be using pre-OS 10 operating systems, what is the go with the recent updates to SSL certificates on the interwebs? Does anyone have any answers for that?
I thought I had a solution. Turns out I don't. It's a real bitch and a half to go online on OS 9, and I didn't run into many issues, but in the previous years, when I went to a website that had an SSL certificate that was incompatible or something, I would get a warning. I could just click OK and it would load. Now it just says, hey, I cannot communicate with this server. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I cannot do it. And that's the end of it. There's only one website that I ran into that issue with, and I tried all the websites I usually visit. And that was sslabs.com, because I wanted to see what kind of certificates might still be supported, and it couldn't load that website. So you can download from the Let's Encrypt website the latest certificate that works, but there's no. And I only spent about an hour on this, so I'm going to experiment some more during the challenge. But you can set up a keychain in macOS 9, but you can't load in the certificate. It doesn't recognize the cert extension, PEM, or what's the other one? DEM. It doesn't recognize them. It refuses to import them. So then you fire up Classilla, which has its own certificate manager built in, and that just crashes when you try to import those newer certificates. Maybe the encryption is too complicated or something.
probably.
I have not figured it out yet. I don't see it being a major obstacle, as the websites that I use on OS 9, I don't do Facebook or YouTube on OS 9, so I don't really care. But it is more of a challenge now than it was in previous years. That's for sure.
There are other options. I mean, I've heard people talking about you can set up what do you call it, like a proxy server or something like that will actually do the SSL for you and then serve up a web page sort of without the security. I think that
would probably be the only option.
Well, couldn't you use like a like a Raspberry Pi for something similar to that?
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, that's obviously that's some dedication for me. I just won't visit those websites. But
well, I mean, it's not that. I don't think it's that hard, to be honest with you, because there is videos out there how to actually strip out ads by using a Raspberry Pi. On all your computers in your house. So there's got to be a way to do it, the same way, serve up web page and then have the Raspberry Pi spit out an unencrypted
the same thing.
Yeah. I haven't looked into a whole proxy thing yet. It sounds promising, and also because if you can get that to work, if you can have your Mac Pro or Raspberry Pi or whatever be the proxy and do all the heavy lifting, it means your PowerPC will be faster because it doesn't have to process all that stuff. So
it's very true.
I don't know if I'm going to have time to get into all that. Hopefully someone else will figure it out and post it on Tinker Different or on Discord. If it is going to be on Tinker Different and you are on OS 9, too bad, buddy. Tinker Different does not load on Mac OS 9. It just tells you, F off. You're not welcome here. Go.
And I just noticed a little frog face there that... there we go. So we should give FrogFind a bit of a mention. I
tried that too. I understand a lot of work went into that, and the frog is cute and all that. I don't understand how it works. I will go to a website. I tried lowendmac.com. It loads it all. I can't click anything. I get 2 lines of preview per article, and then it dead ends. So I'm sure it has its uses, but not. I mean,
I think one of the, and Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I suspect that one of the things is that these days a lot of websites, they deliver content client side. So in other words, they respond to something that you do as a user. So in the olden days where you have a web page, it would just serve the whole thing up. There's all your content. You could view the source and see all the source there. These days, with a lot of web pages, you might arrive on that web page and it only loads a bit of the source. And then, like, for instance, it might only load whatever you see on the screen. Then when you scroll down, it'll load the rest of the content. So the idea being that, the website loads faster because it's only loading the content as you get to it. Now, because that sort of information is being served based on user interaction, it makes it very hard for a tool like FrogFind to just grab all that content and convert it in one go. I could be wrong, but if the content is actually being delivered on the page via a client-side JavaScript, I don't think FrogFind will be able to then put that on the page. So I think that's probably an issue with some of those sorts.
Well, I
of
think
sites.
his answer kind of says that right there. Strips out all the JavaScript and adds. So if it strips out the JavaScript, it's not gonna.
That's right. It's only going to show what loaded on the page at time of loading, rather than stuff that might get added later on.
Which means that Sean has a lot more work to do. So.
He does. Yeah, well, it's interesting. I contacted Sean the other day, probably at some ungodly hour in his part of the world, and mentioned that Tinker Different doesn't load properly on FrogFind, and it's I can't remember the name of the software that we use for it, but so I've sent him away to go and sort that out as soon as possible.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I haven't kept, we're all aware of 10.4 Fox being discontinued, but you can now build your own. Did you just hear a cat meow?
I did.
Yeah.
There's no cat in here. I'm freaking out a little bit. What was I saying?
You were talking about 10.4 Fox.
10.4 Fox. You can compile your own updated version and all that. Sean has a video about that.
Yep. Sean, post a link, please, because that's a very useful video.
Very, very useful.
But is there a similar project going on for Classilla? Is that still being actively developed? Can you make your own version of stuff?
Not as far as I know.
Okay.
The closest you can get is the weird beta release that he was working on and decided just to release because he never finished it. But it doesn't have the new SSL and stuff in it, as far as I know. So.
And what about the old WebKit? Is that still happening?
I know that Sorbet has the WebKit from, I want to say,
High Sierra.
Is it High Sierra? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will work on a lot of stuff because there's some stuff that High Sierra does, websites that it won't work on High Sierra anymore even. But I think it's a very good compromise for what we had, a couple of years ago. Especially for PowerPC, because remember, Leopard was the highest you could go on a PowerPC, and now that we can use a WebKit from High Sierra, that actually I think is going to make it a little bit better of a challenge.
Yep, very very appealing. Well, less of a challenge, I think.
Oh yeah,
it makes it easier.
Much easier.
Yeah, it is actually. It is one of the things with the PowerPC challenge is that there is no doubt about the fact that there is challenge involved, but the thing that I fear is that as the years go by, there'll be fewer things that we can do if we are reliant on web as a component of that, because the web is constantly evolving. So it'll just be interesting to see, sort of, will we eventually reach a stage where web is just not an option anymore for this challenge in the future? Who knows?
I don't know. It's going to become trickier and trickier, though.
Like we said before, this is the reason why we call it the Yak PowerPC Challenge.
Challenge, not the PowerPC easy.
Word. It wasn't meant to be easy. It's meant to make you think and make you work around problems that we have today on older, operating systems.
So, can I get a quick eep from everyone in the chat as to who is going to be participating in the PowerPC challenge? Everyone who plans to do it, can I get an eep from everyone?
Eep,
eep,
eep.
Eep.
So let's just see what.
Now there has been some feedback on Discord. And
but
some people say they couldn't do it, and then after threatening their life and loved ones, they decided to do it anyway.
While we're waiting
really
for the
could
eeps,
not do it, but
while we're waiting for the eeps here, let me do one thing real quick.
Smash that like button.
Mike, you can't use a PC. It's against the rules.
Yep. Well, for the most part, I think people are in, so it's going to be quite busy. And if you want to share your experiences, where do people go to do that, Bruce?
Tinker Different would be a great place to go, and it'd be good if I had that link all queued up.
That's what I'm trying to find right now. Because I don't come to think of it, I've got it on my video.
Yeah, hang on. I'll get it. Talk amongst yourselves.
I got it right here.
It's already there.
Good.
Now, the way it's formatted
not that
on Tinker Different, it is a thread. So each reply is going to have its own thing. So if you're going to share your experiences, it would be nice if you could just make a post and then keep updating that same post or that same reply with new information instead of keep posting new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Else there's going to be 6 million messages in there. It's going to be hard to string together.
Sorry in there. Sorry. So anyhow, I mean, I hope everyone gets into the spirit of the thing. I mean, the fantastic thing about it is whether I'm concerned about being able to, sort of view the web or get onto Facebook or something like that, I can still use some of the old apps that I used at the time. I can still play the old games I played at the time. So, there's still a great deal of value in using the old Macs. And of course, I've got this G5 spec'd out to a point that I never, ever could have afforded back in the day. So, I mean, this G5 runs better than it ever has. So
So I have one quick question here too, and I know that Mike was trying to use a PC, but what are some of the rules? Some of the basic rules.
The basic rules. Well, here are some of the basic rules. First of all, we don't want you to lose your job. So if you can't use your PowerPC for your day job, then that's fine. That is allowed. But the rules are you want to try and use your PowerPC for all of your recreational stuff. Now, if you're a big Discorder, there is a PowerPC version of Discord available. So just be on the lookout for that one as well. But the rules are that your computer has to have a PowerPC CPU. That can be
or 68K.
Well,
No,
yeah,
not-
we are allowing 68K, but don't expect it to be in the title.
Yeah, exactly.
We are allowing people use CPU upgrades, but that upgrade, the actual upgraded CPU, needs to be PowerPC. You can use different operating systems if you want to, as long as it is PowerPC CPU powered. You are not allowed to use an emulator, so you have to actually use the real hardware.
Mhm.
Have I missed anything? Can anyone fill in any gaps?
If you want to use a PC, use a PC. You want to use a 68K, use a 68K. Post about it. Share your story. We're just going to completely ignore it because it's not a Mac with a PowerPC CPU. So you can do whatever you want. Use your Pippin, use your Game Boy. We're just going to ignore you.
But it
I'd
is
like
that
to try to web browse on a Game Boy. That would be interesting.
it is a very important part of it, and we do want people to share their experiences. Get onto that thread on Tinker Different. Post pics of the setup. Tell us about the problems you faced. Tell us about things you might have done in preparation. Tell us about things you might have, that might have happened that are insurmountable, that you just, you can't find a way around it, and we might be able to help.
Tell us about your success.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an interesting thing in one of the previous PowerPC challenges we had where Jay was trying to figure out how he was going to actually get it to work. And I was able to actually give Jay a few applications that allowed him to, get a couple of things sorted out. I think I put you onto one of the older versions of
SQL Pro.
SQL Pro, and also of the Adobe suite, where you were kind of like, I'm not going to use it. I said, look, if you go far enough back, you'll actually find these run pretty well. And I think we ended up getting back to a point where you found the Adobe suite that actually worked out quite well.
Yeah,
for
I went with CS4, and it worked so fantastically well that I trashed Dreamweaver on my Mac Pro running Mojave, and I installed CS4 there as well, which is now unfortunately no longer functional because I upgraded to Monterey. But
dear,
it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I would really love for you to talk about your experiences with Monterey, but that's a little bit off topic here. Alrighty. So and everyone is ready. Everyone's got everything prepped. They're all good to go.
One question here. Ben just asked: is it okay to use his Leopard Core 2 quad computer? No, it's not. No. Does not have a PowerPC chip.
It has to have the old RISC PowerPC. So we're talking
it's
all the
literally
way
in the name, people. PowerPC.
So you can start from the 601.
Did they ever make a Core 2 quad Mac? I don't think they did they?
I have no clue, but I was just answering his question.
Leopard Core 2 quad computer. Hang on. Well, it is. Hang on. Leopard Core 2.
It sounds like a Hackintosh.
It does, yeah. Come on, Ben. We need to know more about what it is.
Yeah.
So because that's we've got more questions than answers at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of PowerPC, 601 all the way up to the G5. So that's what's allowed. All right. Well, I think have we done this one? Does anyone have anything else they want to mention about this one before we move on?
Just remember, guys, it starts as soon as the show ends.
As soon as the show ends, yep.
So
get into it.
Don't watch Grudy's.
Don't go watch
premiere.
Grudy.
You can watch it on a PowerPC.
Actually, you could do that if you have a powerful enough
yep.
PowerPC. Yeah.
Yep. And then you'll just end up with the chat full of people saying, "I'm watching you at 1 frame per second." Oop,
Or I'm
someone at the
watching
door.
you at 206 or what is it, 270,
240p.
230p. Yeah.
240, yeah. I've done that before. It's
uh,
blurry.
I was gonna
Very
say
blurry.
blocky.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we will probably move on from this topic at this stage then, and we'll move on to our last topic. So we've got 30 minutes for this one, or we could be ending up showing.
we end
ending
early.
the
We
show
end
early.
I was actually hoping when I came up with this topic that we'd actually have more of our members on here.
Ah, yes, okay,
Yeah.
Well, that would
We
make
may have
sense. I
to
can see.
also carry this over to the next episode.
Yeah,
we
may.
could talk a little
Yep.
bit about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I suppose we could do. We do actually have a what were they smoking at the moment, so we could have a look at that one to start off with.
We could do that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So how about we pop that into the chat here, and
I need to
we'll
make a
go.
banner because I didn't do one. So.
Uh-oh. Let me see if I can bring this up
It
on
all
my
falls
computer.
apart at the last minute.
Exactly.
Right, I'm going to bring this one up, and then I can potentially. Oh, what have I done? Oops,
Bruce done forgot how to.
I forgot how to copy and
banner.
paste. Yeah, let me have it. No, I forgot how to copy and paste. That's all.
Learn the battery.
Learn the battery. Got to learn the battery. All right, let's get that there, and then waiting. Here we go.
Are you trying to get the?
I'm going to bring it up on the old screen there, up there. So
Ooh, fancy.
share.
Whew.
Yep.
It sounds like there's a jet engine behind me right now.
I wonder why.
That G5 is a little pissed right now.
Well,
Doing
at
that
least you don't
backup.
have to look for fan control software anymore.
True.
Right. So let's just see if this works, shall we? Oh God.
There we go. It's there.
All right. What? You're not going to buy this one?
No.
So
No.
yeah, but it's maxed out. Come on. I mean, look, brand new for the most part. Maxed out i9 16-inch MacBook Pro. There we go. 2 terabyte, 32 gigs of RAM. You paid around $8K for this one. So come on. What year model is that?
That's a 2020, I believe.
It's an i9. Yeah, it might actually be worth somewhere. It's not worth $5,000 after the M1 Max came out, but this time last year it was worth that.
I was going to say, I saw this earlier, and I was going to mention, I said, this is kind of on that cusp
Yeah.
of being what were they smoking? And yeah, I could see them asking for that much,
Yeah.
Even if I was in the market at the time, the i9 throttles as soon as you hit the power button.
Yes.
I don't care what all
Yeah.
those
It-
influences say.
That's the
Horrible
reason why I
cooling.
said
That
that's.
thing is a thermal nightmare. It's worse than the 2013 Mac Pro.
There's a couple of YouTube videos out there where somebody had to put it in the freezer to get it to not throttle
Yeah.
because the heat management on the i9 MacBook Pro was so bad.
Yeah,
Well,
and
this
they
is
were
the-
all testing it the same way. Oh, let's run Geekbench. Let's run this. Oh, let's do Final Cut Pro. Oh, it throttles. And a few weeks later, oh, Apple released a fix. Yeah, that means it just throttles 10 seconds later than it did before.
Yeah.
It's
So you're still going to
complete-
melt it.
Yeah, it's garbage.
I mean, these sorts of problems, I think, really were the catalyst for Apple going with their own silicon, really, weren't they? Because
It's the G5 all over again. They had
Yeah.
to push it so hard, and this was a mobile CPU. I mean, I'm sure the i9 would have done really well in an iMac, not the current form factor iMac, but a 2011 iMac that actually has more than
I
one
don't
fan.
know. I think it would have done pretty well in the current form factor if they would have put enough fans in it.
Yeah.
Like
And
the
enough
design of the iMac Pro, since it was released, has never disappointed. They put 2 very powerful blowers in there.
Yep.
They started Facebook groups like, oh, people can share their problems here and ask for help. Those groups were dead the
You know, I
second
just
they
thought
got
of
created. Yeah, they're never used because no one ever has problems that are not software issues.
Well, unless you're Linus, from Linus Tech Tips, where he takes one apart and breaks it.
Well, yeah, you can't account for stupid.
and then wonders why Apple won't repair it for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they would transition all the iMacs over to the body of, well, not with the M1, but all the Intel ones to the body of an iMac Pro, ooh, the i9 and whatever comes after that would have kicked ass.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why I am not too thrilled about the 24-inch iMac M1 because, for one, I'd rather have a 27-inch or bigger screen. To be honest with you, the 24-inch is
Rumor-
just a little small.
We completely
has
moved
it
on
it's
from
going
what
to work on with
was
a
he
bigger
smoking,
one, yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah,
no.
well, I think at this stage we probably need to decide. I mean, so
Oh.
we don't think that guy was too high, just a little bit high.
He was a
So-
little high, but
I
Yeah.
finished the brownies off, but it's not completely unreasonable, I guess.
yeah,
So what was he smoking then?
I don't think he was smoking anything really crazy.
He was smoking regret for buying it in the first place and not being stuck
There you
with
go.
it.
Big bong of regrets.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like
Regret.
that.
By the way, the new iMac, I saw a picture of one yesterday or day before, the silver iMac with a white bezel and stuff.
Mhm.
It has, in my opinion, dethroned Dave's yellow painted SE, whatever he has. It is hideous. It's the most
Yeah,
ugly thing
the
I've seen.
White
In a while.
glass, I don't know why they did the white glass.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It just doesn't look right.
It's an Apple thing.
Yeah.
I guess they don't have Johnny Ives there no more. So he's still a designer in a way, but outside the company. But now look at the stuff they got coming out. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, I don't mind it.
They
I
look
don't mind
now like the last generation of the iPod Nano. The colors
is that?
and the white glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Bruce doesn't mind it, but he likes touchscreens
I don't
on
know.
iMac.
I don't know. I'm fine. I'm easy. I'm fine with it.
Well, I
don't know.
mean, here's the thing too: is people still want touch screens on Macs, but to be honest with you, I don't ever want a touch screen on a Mac.
I use two 24-inch displays here. They are old. I bought them at the same time. They look completely different in picture quality. This one has a fading backlight. This one, I can no longer adjust the brightness. They cost me about $100 a pop, and I'm very, very happy with them. So the whole Retina thing has never really appealed to me because I don't do graphic design. If I can see Mac Yak and I can do my emails and put repair details in, I don't care if it's a.
Well, Jay,
My
I have
old
I have
CRT.
two 27-inch 1080p monitors right here, so
Right.
I'm with
But whatever screen I use, it has to have a black bezel. I don't want to see the bezel.
Yeah.
I want it to blend into the background. And
Yep.
that thing was
So-
bright white. It's
What
like a
about the
picture
old?
frame.
What about the old sort of aluminum ones?
They had
Yeah, not a
black.
big
They had
fan.
black back, or
No, the ones prior to that
You're talking IMAX or displays?
displays.
I've never been a fan of those. They were overpriced. They ran hot, and they never
They were,
had
but you
good,
could pick them up for a steal these days.
Oh yeah,
These
I've got
days,
a
yeah.
30-inch one sitting over here on my other Mac Pro. So
But it's it was a pro display. But I've never, in all the years, either supporting them or being married to one, heard any graphic designer say anything positive about those aluminum displays. The color accuracy sucks. The contrast sucks.
Mm.
Everything about them sucks. So
Yeah,
who bought 'em?
the worst ones were with a 20-inch, I think, something like that. They were appalling. The 24 a little bit better, and the 30 better still. But yeah, no, I would agree with that. They're not being particularly good. I've got a Samsung as my main screen, and then two 24s as my two secondary. And the Samsung, it absolutely leaves the others for dead in terms of contrast and brightness
bet.
and color quality and all that sort of stuff. You
And the
grab
heat.
something on this screen and you drag it across onto that one, and you just see all the colors shift. You know?
Yeah, I mean, my wife uses a 27-inch Retina 5K iMac, and she has one of those Thunderbolt 27-inch non-Retinas next to it. Pretty good, but I also gave her a really insultingly bad LCD. I think it's 21 inch that she put next to that because she uses it to test, like, hey, how do other people see my design? So she drags it from the 5K to the 27 inch. Oh, it's bad. And then to that one, like, oh my God. Those two colors can't go. No. Let's start over. So it has its uses.
If you're someone that has multiple screens and you might have one screen just for all your 50 zillion palettes in Photoshop or something like that, or the little, it doesn't matter what sort of screen you're using for that. That can just be absolute garbage. But yeah, if you're going to be sort of checking colors and, and in particular, when you got really subtle differences in color, sort of like you might be working with two grays next to each other or something like that. If you have a crappy monitor, you may not even be able to tell the difference between the two of them.
Just go out and buy that new, high res monitor that Apple's selling without.
That's right.
Yeah.
With the stand.
No, you have to
on those aluminum displays.
Buy that separate.
I think it's Dana. He uses one or two of those aluminum displays, 30 inch, and he needs to have a separate fan set up just so he doesn't melt his face off sitting at his desk. So I don't even want to know what they use power wise. Probably more than my Mac Pro.
Yes, I used one of those when they first came out at my workstation back in the days when I used to work for someone. They at the time just blown away by them. But yeah, there was a fair bit of decent heat coming off the screen. So all right, that was all just on. What were they making, wasn't it?
Yeah. What are we smoking? We completely drifted off topic.
But we always get off on a tangent. That's why we do.
We do. So at this stage, we need to make a decision. Do we have a look at the topic that Grudy put in there that he was hoping a few more people would be here for, or
I prefer
do we
to honestly wait?
Wait. Okay. So, well, under those circumstances, we probably just move on to the old. Self-promotion and maybe just finish the show a little bit early today. I mean, given the fact that we will be continuing to provide entertainment after this show, with Grudy having his premiere and Jay having his live stream, so we have got. I mean, the Mac Yak, it just buy one get three free. Goodness.
And I might start at 9:55 just to make sure I draw everyone in by the time they're there. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting because I'm going to have them both open at the same time, and I'll just be trying to put the chat in.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, hi, Jay.
I did find out something today from one of the customers coming in the store that right down the road, about not even 5 miles away, I have a ham radio outlet, which means that I have access to ham radio supplies now. So
see if you can get into their recycle bin. People in your area throw some good stuff away.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Ham radio operators don't throw anything away. So you'll never, ever see a ham radio operator throw something away.
Okay. It's always repairable.
Oh, well, it's not just that. If it's not repairable,
it's hard to find too. Yeah.
It makes good donor radio.
So for your shameless self-promotion, you're finally announcing that this year you're going to make videos about how ham operators use the Mac and stuff?
Yes, I'm going to make some more. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pace myself.
Oh, yeah, because you've been in such a hurry until now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Bruce is expecting wine.
Sorry, yeah, I've there's a van that's just pulled out at the front. And so I'm probably going to have to. No, I haven't ordered that yet. So, and unless they read my mind or something like that, I will be putting an order in. But I haven't done it yet. So if that is actually my wine delivery, I'll be very impressed. But I'm just warning that if this person comes to the door and presses the doorbell, I may have to just disappear for a little bit. So,
do we allow shameless self-promotion for people that can't be bothered to show up?
But he's saying it will be released in 2022, so that means he has 349 days.
349, 349 days. So we'll see it December 31st.
Yep. Yeah.
Doorbell, wine.
Uh-oh.
What about you?
Like
what are you up to apart from your video premiere tonight?
Well, like we keep saying, my video premieres tonight. That's part one of two. Kind of a spoiler alert. I did get it to work.
Is there blood?
There was blood, but I don't remember if I put it in the video or not. Yeah. It's the most frustrating video. I'm not kidding. I was about to throw the thing, and the thing weighed 50
When
pounds.
do you not have a frustrating video?
Well, it was supposed to take maybe an hour max. I was just going to click the CPU in, and it would work.
That's a fair expectation when dealing with a G5.
Yeah.
I filmed from 10 to 4:30 in the morning.
And how long did it take
So-
you to edit?
Cool. It took me. I actually had both videos done in probably about 6 hours of editing. But,
So, in other words, you filmed longer than you edited.
yeah, yeah.
And
Well, that's-
the part that you're airing tonight that's the first part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Second part should be going live Sunday.
So,
Put
another
the
quick
link up
question.
to it after it.
Were tripods used
Yes,
and
for most of it.
and real mics?
As real as I have, yeah.
Now I've
I mean,
already
they
seen
recorded audio.
I've already seen both videos. If someone else wants to see the videos before they premiere, where can they go to do that? I wonder.
Over on my Patreon. They're both live right now as we speak. So you can even watch them before it premieres. So do that actually, because then
I can actually see them before they hit Patreon.
yeah, because you cheat, but still.
I
You
could actually
you
go see
upload it
too
to my
on
server. It's
Patreon.
fair game.
Yeah, his server is my backup server, just in case I ever lose everything. So, yeah.
What you get, Bruce?
Oh, what's in the box, Bruce? What's in the box?
On air unboxing. Ooh. 47 microfarad, 16 volt capacitors. Ooh.
I
And
promise. My box has cooler stuff in it.
This one, this is actually something a little bit fun. Well, fun for me anyway. This is a opto iso thing.
It's a thing.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I've
and
been wanting
it's-
one of those.
Yeah, that's right. And I have. So anyone who watched my checkerboard Mac the other day, it was being caused by a failed component, which is one of these. And so I bought 40 of them because this happens to me a lot. So
Oh, right.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So anyhow, I was very, very pleased to see this turn up because I actually have one computer sitting on my workbench at the moment waiting for one of these. So
Is
now
it a
I have it.
chip?
But
chip.
question: after you replaced that chip, it was still checkerboarding. It just wasn't wobbly anymore. So, do you really need that chip?
Yes, I do. It was, yes, you're quite correct. The checkerboard was because of the ROM, but the wobbliness was because of this. So,
Okay.
but yes, I have
What
another
chip is
one
that
with
again?
a wobble. Joe, what chip is this one?
You got it in your hand. You can't read it off the chip.
I can read the codes. It's hang on. I do know. I just can't remember. Hang on.
Guess he's gotta
Did
get
you
his
key
stock
have a
glasses
piece of
on.
paper in there with the parts?
Equivalent series resistance.
Yeah,
Even Joe's
Uh,
like, what?
It's an opto isolator. There you go. How's
knew
that
that.
sound?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it was Joe that actually. I could be wrong, but I think it was Joe that.
Joe was close. He was
put a
2
link to
digits off, though. To be fair,
Yeah. Okay.
he's not
So
as
yes, it is not.
amazing as everybody claims he is.
And now I've lost the little plug that goes into the end to stop all the chips from falling out. Never mind.
So, with these parts, are you going to do anything that warrants shameless self promotion?
Shameless self-promotion. I am planning to do a live stream this weekend. I don't know what I will be live streaming, but it will be something. I've got just a mountain of repairs here, so it'll be something, and got more on the way. So so I will do a live stream probably tomorrow or the day after. I'm continuing to work on my my ultrasonic video, which has just turned out to be a way bigger undertaking than I originally thought. So I'll try and record some footage for that as well.
I've seen a few snippets of preview for that video though, and it's worth the wait, people. Just give them another year. It'll be worth it.
No, I do plan to get it out sooner than that. I mean, I do. It's a video that I think will be enjoyed by a lot of people because ultrasonic cleaners are something that once upon a time it was a piece of specialist equipment. Nowadays you can just buy one off eBay for not too much money, and I just think that they are a really handy thing to have, and understanding a little bit more about them and how they work and how they can benefit you and what they work with and what they don't work with and all that is good. So the video basically starts off explaining the process, what is actually happening, what is the reaction that's going on when you're using an ultrasonic cleaner. And then the second half is going through the steps that I took for making my own and all of the painful mistakes that I made along the way. I have something now that, touch wood, runs very reliably, but boy, it didn't to start off with. So yeah,
I remember
you can benefit from my mistakes.
The photos that you sent in the chat, like,
another one's fallen off.
So why don't you slap together a preview in the next 40 minutes and then do a premiere at 10 p.m. our time, and we'll just see where the people show up.
So Bruce, one quick question, because I was looking at ultrasonic cleaners on Amazon here. Should I get something like a 10-liter?
Well, this is one of the things that I talk about in the video. When it comes to deciding what you want to get for an ultrasonic cleaner, the main things you need to consider, first of all, make sure you get one that has a heater built in. Make sure you get one that has a timer built in, and most of them do. They will have those things. Then the third thing, which is the most important one out of all, is make sure that you get a tank or a tub, bath, whatever, that is the size for cleaning what you want to clean. And that is the really difficult part, because who knows necessarily what they want to clean. Now, if all you're going to be cleaning are, say a lot of the boards that Jay works on, where he might be looking at, say, little MacBook Pro boards and stuff like that. They might be this size or this size. Then, a 10 litre is going to be fine. If you're thinking of dropping in a Quadra 950 board, not so much. So, hello.
Oh. Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
When I got my cleaner, the biggest board I had to worry about was the 17-inch MacBook Pro. That's what I based this cleaner on. But yeah, this cleaner that I have now is not going to fit the 2X boards that I have. I have to do one half first, flip the board around, do the other half. So,
Yep, it is a problem. That would be my recommendation. So, would just be think about what it is, think about what it is that you want to clean, and then check the size. Check the size. Keep in mind that most of those tubs, they sort of start off at a certain width, and they tend to taper inwards. So if they give you the dimensions, they'll be giving you the dimensions around the top, not necessarily the dimensions at the bottom. So just keep that in mind, that they will taper in a little bit. But you just need to get those dimensions of the tank and figure out, is it big enough for the sorts of things you want to clean. So
yeah, and that was very difficult for me, because nobody tells you that stuff until you buy the damn thing, and then you go to shove it in, and you go, oh.
Well, it goes
the
on the
reason
top.
why I found one, it says, this is a 10-liter one on Amazon, and it says the cap size is 11.8 inches by 9.4 inches, which sounds like it's pretty big, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, because I don't know what an inch is.
Yeah, but does it give you like a diagram, Greg? Of
looking
the top
for that.
Because
how much does it cost?
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
Yeah.
$169.99.
For that, I got the 15-liter.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a long time ago.
Well, there is no 15-liter. It's a 6-liter, 10-liter, 22-liter, and a 30-liter.
Is it one of the wonderful brand names that Bruce or I have?
No, I don't know. It's called Vivo Home.
Sorry, what was it?
Vivo Home.
Okay, so let me just say something very quickly. The brand name that I have, which is Vevor, Vevor, They are still around today. They are a known brand. You can go, and if you go into eBay and you search for Vivor, you can go in and buy that brand. And I would recommend it. I have had my ultrasonic cleaner now since 2016, and it has not skipped a beat. And I tell you what, I give that thing a beating. So I really can recommend the Vivor brand, Vevor, if you are looking for one. And as I say, you will find ones on eBay that are branded as Vivor. And Vivor even have their own website. How's that for Flash?
Well,
I
the reason why
don't
was
even
looking at
remember
this one,
mine.
it has all the different features that you mentioned on it. It has a timer. It has a temperature control on it.
Yep.
All the ones that I ever looked for, Greg, had those. But what Justin said in the chat is true to most, what Bruce and I were just saying. The 15-liter one that I have, it will only take like 11 liters. Like it's not going to take anywhere near, and that just speaks to the volume of the measurements that it was.
So my one is a 10 and it takes about 8 liters. And the reason they do it that way is because they give you the capacity of the tank, but you cannot fill the tank to the brim. It's just totally impractical to do so. As soon as you submerge something, eureka, it spills out. So so if you fill it to where they're meant to be filled, they usually have a little indentation there. Fill it where they're meant to be filled, you're going to have that reduced capacity there. So, and a quick tip to anyone, if they're looking to increase the intensity of their ultrasonic cleaner by only half filling the tank so that there's more power versus water. Again, this is stuff that I talk about in the video. It's not a good idea. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit underfilled, but if it's way underfilled, you can actually damage your ultrasonic cleaner. So
makes sense, actually.
Sort of look at the dimensions of the thing. Get an idea. I mean, if all I was doing was cleaning Mac Classic and SE 30s and SE boards, I would be fine with the little 10-liter cleaner. But once you then start getting into 2CI, 2VX, what's going on here? Silliness going on. There's silliness going on, isn't there?
When I joined, Jay wasn't on the screen, and I just had put my glasses on right before I joined, and I see Greg sitting there with the microphone, and I'm like, "That Jay?" And I hear Jay talking, and then and so we're just goofing around. And Greg, the other Greg, Grudy's shirt looks like he has motorcycles on it, but the mirrors look like eyes, so I thought they were seals for a moment. See? They're happy seals.
It's a knucklehead engine.
You're a knucklehead.
We've reduced to name calling. I'm sorry for joining.
Yeah. No, I blame you, Steve. It started when you arrived.
Yeah, well.
So
easier to blame me.
Do you have any self-promotion, Steve? Or seeing as you're here?
Considering you hopped on just for self-promotion.
Yes, that's exactly. Let's say I planned it that way. So, and Dave's here, so it is time to end. Yep. So I have a video coming out tomorrow. It is the part 2 of the crazy compact adventures of whatever the hell I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to PCs. I put a poll on Twitter to see if I should cut the video down into 2 parts because it's like 45 minutes long, and 80% of the vote says no, keep it long. So I guess my videos are not too long, or maybe this
people have spoken.
People have spoken.
Or
so
maybe people just don't want to see more PC videos.
They just want to get it over with.
I actually enjoyed the videos, but
thank you.
I'm also partially a PC, so.
So this is 46 minutes long with the intro and the outro and all that crap. So it'll be released tomorrow. It's on Patreon already.
Now, I must apologise. I still haven't seen the first part.
You just fast forward to it.
Work-related stuff. But correct me if I'm wrong. This is something that is centered around remote access. No, not remote access. Sorry.
File conversion.
File conversion. So, getting PC files onto your Mac, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So the way my backwards brain works is that whole December thing was going around, and I thought, it would be cool. I have a Mac SE FD and a Mac SE SuperDrive. Let's put them side by side. One will have Apple File Exchange, one will have the later Apple PC Exchange, and we'll see how these work, how it converts files. I was doing research on those things. I'm getting all geared up, ready to do it. I take the SE SuperDrive that I got from the E-Waste place in May. I pull out the logic board, and the battery had exploded on it.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, Lovely. And so I go, okay, well, the Super Wozniak chip is the only thing I need. I could take that from one and put it on the other. And this is like middle of December now. Then Christmas happened, and I walked around in my pajamas for like 5 days after because I didn't have work. So that's what you do. And I thought, okay, well, this video isn't really going anywhere. And so I looked at that compact and I said, oh, maybe I could mess around with that. And I just put it on the table and I ran the camera. And I probably filmed 3 hours of me noodling around with it, and that turned into like 2 45-minute videos. So
Okay, fair enough.
there's a lot of off the cuff. Wow, is it actually 3 a.m. or is the clock battery in that computer dead? But Steve sounds like it's 3 a.m.
And did you do that video in your pajamas like yesterday's live stream?
You do not see the bottom of me, so you'll see.
Okay, so you may or may not.
He may not have been wearing. Yeah.
I am wearing something now. I will not reveal what I am. You have to sign up to the Patreon for that.
OnlyFans.
Only ribbons. Yeah, there you go.
I don't think they're allowing that sort of stuff in OnlyFans anymore.
Oh man.
So has everyone done their promotions? I'm not sure if I disappeared for a bit. Have we done the full circle there?
Yeah, I
I
believe
think we're
so.
good.
Okay, all right. Well, must be time for me to then say, well, we have a Discord.
We do.
So if you
GT
haven't-
is not amused, Bruce.
If you haven't joined our Discord, please be sure to join our Discord. I used to not be around on Discord much, but I am there a fair bit these days. So if you have, if you want to chat with us or ask us questions or whatever, jump on. It's a nice community, lots of good people there. So if you haven't joined up, join up.
Exactly.
And just also a very quick reminder to everyone that yes, we have a website as well. Check that out.
We do.
And lots of interesting stuff on there, including stuff that you can read about past PowerPC challenges. So if you're wanting to gear
A lot of
yourself up for the
interesting
new one,
stuff.
you can go in and have a look at the experiences from previous years. So,
There's even an article that I wrote on there.
Yep.
whoa,
Oh.
whoa.
He can type too.
And don't forget Tinker Different, folks. You can join there. Tinker Different also have a Discord, so you can always check that out too. But they have the Tinker Different website, and you can go and have a look there and share in all sorts of interesting projects. So that's, I think, pretty much it. Don't forget,
Except for one
PowerPC
thing.
Challenge starts now.
Yep.
And are we going to do a
Smash that like button.
just like that? So we have the PowerPC challenge starting up now. So please get into it. Share your experiences on Tinker Different. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and the bell and all that sort of stuff. Do what you have to do. And I hope someone's ready on the end stream button. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
My channel, 10 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
My channel.
Both.
Yeah, making me do
Both.
things.
Yeah, you could.
Their
do
channel,
both.
10
Is
p.m.
someone clicking the